All right, this is Lars from Pioneer DJ, and new for NAMM 2016, we got the Pioneer CDJ-2000NXS2 and the DJM-900NXS2 mixer. The CDJ-2000NXS, of course, has been the industry standard in clubs all around the world, and there are a lot of improvements that I'm very excited to share with you. One request we've gotten a lot is more hot cues, and we're delivering on that. So now here you have 8 hot cues, so you have 2 banks of 4. You can easily switch banks with these buttons down here. Also, the way you set hot cues is different now. So if I get some audio going here, move over to my hot cue bank B, I can very easily set a hot cue by just pressing down on it, and now I can press it again. So record, play, and then to delete, I simply press the button down here and move out of them. So that's a new way of setting hot cues. We've also added a new feature right here on the reverse. We added a slip reverse. So if you push the lever forward, you go into reverse mode, but when you let go of it, it snaps back to where it would have been if you hadn't reversed it. So that's a combination of having slip on and reverse, can also be used as a sensor. The screen is bigger, it's 7 inches. It's also a touch screen. And to set a loop, you simply press the button right here. This automatically brings you into a 4-beat loop. Or if you press and hold, it automatically brings you into an 8-beat loop. So that was a feature we had on the CDJ-2000 that we did not have on the CDJ-2000NXS. We got a lot of requests to bring it back, so you can very easily create that 1-bar loop by simply pressing this button right here. So looking at the touchscreen, you'll notice the waveform is in color. If I go to my shortcut menu, I can see right here you can switch it from blue to RGB. Other things you can do in the shortcut menu is you can change your quantize value. You can see right now I have it set to 1/8. On the CDJ-2000NXS, your only quantize value was 1. So now with the shorter quantize value, that can really help you with beat juggling. And another change here is the phase meter. So this is the old phase meter. And if I press on it, it switches over to this new phase meter. So you have the option of switching phase meters by simply pressing right here on the touch screen. You can see this new phase meter is a little more accurate. So the red indicates the 1, and then the first blue marker is the 2, the 3, the 4, and so forth. The buttons here to the left and right of the phase meter where it says 1 beat, this allows you to do a beat jump. So this is a 1 beat jump forward. And another way of going into loop mode is touching the touch screen. So now the bottom of the waveform disappears, and you can see you can select the length of your loop right here. Here's my 2-beat loop. Because quantize is on, it doesn't really matter when I press it. It's always going to be right on beat. And of course, I can also go into slip mode and use my loops that way. There are some additional buttons right here, right around the browse knob. So if I go into my track filter, I now have the ability to sort my library. So for example, I can go in here and say, show me all songs that are within ±6% of 130 BPM and in a key that's related to C and have 5 stars and have the color yellow. Or I can go into my tag and I can now go into looking for specific components or specific situations. So for example, let's say for the next 30 minutes, I want to play tracks that are dark and percussive. I can go in there and look specifically for songs that are dark and percussive within a certain BPM range, maybe even within a certain key. You always had the ability to do that in Rekordbox, but it was difficult to find those tracks on the CDJ before because you had to use the comment field. So now with these buttons, with the track filter, you have the ability to really dig deep and find that. You have to use Rekordbox for this to work. In Rekordbox, you have the ability to do this kind of tagging. So that's a quick rundown of the CDJ-2000NXS. You also have the ability to play high-resolution audio files. So FLAC and ALAC are now supported. So you can output at 96K, 24-bit. Of course, you have a digital output on here, and this goes straight into your mixer. So without any kind of conversion, you can play your high-resolution audio files. So moving on to the mixer, this is the DJM-900NXS2. The biggest improvement, the biggest change to the mixer is something you can't really see, and that is sound quality. We've always had people loving this mixer for its features. Not everyone was so crazy about the sound quality, so we put a lot of effort into making this mixer sound warmer, make it sound more analog. We did a lot of testings in clubs all around the world, and we've gotten phenomenal feedback on it, so we're really, really happy with the way that's turned out. Looking at the sound color effects, 5 of them are the same that we had on the 900 Nexus and 900 SRT. What we brought back is a sweep. That was actually an effect we had on the DJM-800. It's a bandpass filter. So if I use the sweep right here, sounds like that. And what's new, there's now a parameter knob that lets me change certain parameters of my effects. So in the case of the sweep, what it does is it moves the band along. So if I'm using the filter and I go into my high pass filter, I now have control over the resonance. And in the case of the noise, I now have control over the volume of the noise. You know, so some people were complaining that the noise was sometimes too loud, you know, so now you have full control over that. Then moving down here, you'll notice there's a second headphone jack. So there's 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch. Moving over to the beat effects section, we have a few new effects here. One is called ping pong. Then we got the pitch. There is a vinyl break. And there's a new effect called Helix, which is an echo and a pitch shifter. So when I change the length of the effect, it applies this pitch shifter. Now on top of that, you now have the ability to change the frequency that you want to affect. So let's say you're using a delay and you don't want any delay on your low end, you can simply take the low end out. You know, so right now I'm affecting only the mids and the high, now I'm only affecting the mids, now I'm affecting the entire frequency band. The X-Pad right here is about twice the size of what we had in the previous mixer, so it makes it much easier to jump from, let's say, 1/4 to 1. You can actually see very clearly what kind of jump you're doing, how long you affect this. The screen here is an OLED screen, so it gives you more detail. And then this section right here is the new and improved send return section. So there's a few changes here. For one, it's now separate from the beat section. Before, you could not use beat effects and send return simultaneously. Now it's separate. So you have an on-off button for your beat effects, you have an on-off button for your send return section right here. Also, you now can change the return type to auxiliary. So let's say you're using an effect like maybe a digital delay or something like that, an effect that's 100% wet, and you want to return it on one of the channels. You can select right here, select return aux, switch this over to aux, and now you have your returned effect on this channel right here. Now another improvement to the send return section here is you now have a digital send return. You know, so you can take an iPad, connect it right here with the lightning cable, and switch this over to USB, turn this on. Now everything that's going through the mixer is being routed into the iPad. I can manipulate it right here. We now have an RMX1000 iPad app, and then return it into the mixer. You know, so that's our digital send return feature. The Magville crossfader was also brought to this mixer. The 900 SRT already had it. It's a higher quality crossfader than the 900 Nexus had. It's perfect for cutting and scratching, but also works well for blending. This has been a quick rundown of the DJM-900NXS2 and CDJ-2000NX2. Check it out at musiciansfriend.com.